When a strange package arrived, I assumed it was for Mrs. Biscuit. I was wrong. Bunny, what are you doing?
Rory, I've bought a telescope.
You know that this is my nemesis. This is the anti-biscuit.
Yeah, I know that, but I just want to take pictures of the heavens without all of the headache.
Alright, fair enough. Bunny has bought a roboscope, which is supposed to take all the pain out of astrophotography. It aligns itself, it focuses by itself, it captures exposures by itself, it stacks them together and spits out a beautiful image which you can share on your favourite social network.
I reckon I could take just as good space pics as you now.
There's no way your robot could beat a nerd like me, Bunny.
Well, let's put it to the test then, shall we? Why don't we have one of those shootouts?
Fine. Just let me get a few bits together. Okay. To find out if Bunny's robot is just as good as a nerd, this nerd will take on the robot with a rig that has the same mount and optics. Skies are clear, and luckily, all the kit that I need has just arrived. The scope I've borrowed from YouTuber astrophotography. What a nice chap. And here it is. Just like Stellina's scope, it's 80mm fat and made out of fancy ED glass. And just like Stellina, we're sticking it on an Altaz motorised mount. Now the one thing about this scope that isn't like Stellina is that it's quite a lot longer. It's actually 600mm focal length. So we're using this in combination with a reducer. It will reduce the focal length of this to 500, just like Stellina. I'm pretty sure Stellina's designers have taken the bold step, choosing what officially is a planetary camera. And for this setup, it's a brilliant idea. First Light Optics have lent me this, which is a ZWO ASI 178MC, which I believe has got the same sensor in it as Stellina. And finally, as we're in London, Stellina will be using her built-in light pollution filter. I'm taking a punt that it'll be like this one. Everything new would be about £1.5 grand, which is considerably cheaper, is it not, than Stellina? Stellina is £2 grand more expensive, which sounds like a rip-off. Until you realise just how many extra parts she needs to replace a nerd. Here are just some of them. She's got a filter changer, an automatic dew heater, a motorised camera rotator, an electronic focuser, a computer processor, and bespoke stacking and grading software. If she beats this, then I'd say she's priced about right. If she doesn't, if we beat her, then yeah, not so good. Just so as you know, no robot has ever come close to beating a nerd.
Initialize, my friend. Okay, she's ready.
Alright, let's do it. We're kicking off with one of our galaxy's true marvels. The Orion Nebula is a vast, and I mean vast, cloud of hydrogen, sulfur and oxygen gas. A birthing pool for stars. It's big enough and close enough and bright enough for us to even see it through London's murk with a standard camera lens. It takes Stellina just 20 minutes to get what she needs.
Look at it! Look at it, Rory!
Yes, it's very good. If you give me the image, I'll do a quick grade on it, shall I? The robot has done exceptionally well. But is it enough to beat the nerd? This is it. Come on, Astrobiscuit. What do you think?
Well, they look the same, but yours took ages to process.
Yeah, but we zoom in. Stars are tighter, and there's a little bit more contrast in there. 1-0 to the nerd. But I can't help think that if I'd have processed Stellina's subs, the result would have been almost identical. I mean, credit where it's due. Stellina has done blooming well, don't you think? She clearly is quite good. On the next target, I had mount issues and missed by 1/6 of a degree.
You missed.
Artistic off-centering.
Rubbish, Rory.
But Stellina was spot on. While I sorted out my mount issues, it could be backlash. Stellina grabbed a ball of most ancient stars that orbits our galaxy once every couple of 100 million years. I honestly never thought I'd be losing to a robot. Got time for another? My last chance to pull back some dignity for nerdkind is the Crab Nebula, the remnant of a star that exploded so brightly medieval nerds would have seen it in the daytime sky. I cannot afford to lose this one. The mount's now working well, which means I'm going to risk longer 20-second subs. Perfect, okay, it's worked. Stellina is at a disadvantage here because her subs max out at 10 seconds. Okay, here we go. This is your Crab Nebula.
It's not really a great target, this one.
Yeah, Stellina struggled, huh? And this is mine. Clearly the nerd wins this one, huh? Note to the geeks, looking at this suggests I'm not using the same light pollution filter as Stellina. Even so, I think 2-all is a fair result.
2-all. It looks like Stellina is as good as a nerd. I guess they're the future, Biscuit Boy.
Hold on a minute. Although this shootout does show robots are now mechanically as good as nerds, suggesting that a robot can replace a nerd completely is going too far. This draw does not mean that a robot is as good as a nerd, because I was only using 10% of my nerd powers.
Oh, really?
90% of nerdiness comes from designing the rig, and that rig was a clone of Stellina, a clone which was designed for a robot, not to be driven by a nerd. But I bet if you let me loose to astrobiscuitize that mount, I would kick Stellina's butt.
So, do you want another shootout? I mean, are you trying to save your reputation?
I will give up being a nerd if I lose.
Really? Okay, let's do it.
Okay, tomorrow night you're on The Decider.
Of course, you can't spend any more money.
Fellow nerds, it's clear to me now that there is a threat to our kind from the robot. It's only a matter of time before they take over. Now, I don't want that to happen on my watch. Tonight, we're going to put down a marker for nerdkind. We're going to use all the powers of nerdiness to tweak Stellina clone to absolutely and completely whoop Stellina's arse. Stellina can focus accurately, she can track accurately, she can do a pretty good job of grading. So how can we beat an enemy that never makes mistakes, never sleeps, and doesn't have to put the girls to bed halfway through the focusing routine? Only thing we have that Roboscope doesn't have is imagination and balls. And tonight we're gonna push our imagination and balls to the limit, because I've got an idea. It could be a disaster, but we're gonna do it. The first thing we're gonna do is make the setup lighter, and as a bonus it'll get much, much cheaper. The telescope and the reducer cost about 600 quid. I'm thinking of getting rid of them and replacing them with a telescope that costs about 100 quid. F5 80mm achromatic refractors are the same length and fatness as Stellina, but there's a reason they're cheap. The big problem is that the cheap glass won't focus the red light and the blue light and the green light at the same spot. The focus point will be like 1/3 of a millimeter different. And when we're shooting stars, they will have blue halos around them because the blue light won't be focused well enough. We're going to try and overcome this flaw, known as chromatic aberration, with a massive jar lid. I've attached a massive jar lid, which will allow me to do very, very fine focus. And I'm hoping that if I capture just the red light by using a red filter in this filter wheel, I'll be able to focus the red light exactly, record the red light with this camera, this is a mono camera, then turn the filter wheel till we get the green filter. I will refocus and capture the green light, then turn the focus wheel once again, capture the blue light. I have not tried this before. Assuming this works, we've saved ourselves 300 odd quid, which is good because the new light pollution filter is 50 quid dearer. Okay, so in here we have an extreme light pollution filter. It captures 654, I think, nanometer wavelength, which is the wavelength at which clouds of hydrogen gas just happen to emit when they're glowing in space. And it cuts out everything else. Like a mirror, it reflects away the other 99% of our visible wavelengths. You see me, you can see how dark this light pollution filter is, and in order for our camera to get anything through this filter, we need really long exposures, at least a minute. Thing is, 60-second exposures are a problem for this mount, because as it stands, it's a bit too wobbly. However, now we've made the setup much lighter, we can fix the problem by putting the same mount on a different tripod. Same mount, but now it is going to perform at least twice as well. And the reason is because we've aligned it to the rotation of the Earth. The mount can now spin in the opposite direction to the Earth. So while the Earth does this, the mount can go like this. And why would we want to do this? If you could sit on here, it would look like the stars were completely static and the Earth is just spinning beneath you. Okay? Now the advantage of this is that the mount is just moving in one axis, which means it's going to be more accurate, which means we can get longer exposures without blurry stars, which in turn means we can use the ultimate light pollution filter. This is a pretty radical idea, but I'm really hoping with a little bit of luck and fine focusing, I'm really hoping it's gonna kick Stellina's behind. The great war of nerd versus robot will be decided tonight in this final battle.
In your own time, Biscuit.
Let's do it.
Initialize.
Our first target is the Horsehead Nebula, famously shot by Hubble. You find it by going above the bright Orion to Orion's belt and focusing in on the left-hand star. Fellow nerds, a confession, my blue channel was terrible, so I had to make use of an additional 60 quid filter. It's a Baader Fringe killer filter. It makes everything a bit more yellow. This filter will cut out the hard to control high frequency blue wavelengths. We spent an hour and a half on the horse's head, so let's see how the robot did.
Ooh. Oh, it's not great, is it?
Let's give it a grade.
Ah, there we go. The Horsehead.
Alright, now are you sitting down, Bunny? Because you are about to experience the full force and power of a nerd.
You missed Again?
Of course I didn't miss. Because I'm a nerd, not a computer, I know that there's a lovely little flame nebula right next to the horse's head, so I just shifted my alignment to capture them both. I think you'll agree we've completely whooped Stellina's butt. But annoyingly, it's only worth 1 point.
Let's do this one next.
A star cluster. Star clusters contain no hydrogen gas, and therefore I won't be able to use my super duper hydrogen alpha filter. Alright. So, can my cheap rig beat Stellina even when it's not using the super duper light pollution filter? This is what I've got. To shoot a good star cluster, you need to shoot good stars. Unfortunately, all my stars are triangles.
Oh, it's not great, is it?
Essentially, the cold has caused the lens to tighten up. It's called pinched optics. But Stellina, with her heated front elements, didn't suffer from pinched optics. Stellina's done a good job on this.
1 all, 1 more to go, and your telescope isn't working.
According to Google, what I need to do is just loosen this lens cell a bit, and fingers crossed, that's going to cause the pinching to stop. Alrighty, onwards.
Hey, Biscuit, I've chosen M51 next.
That's a galaxy, Bunny.
Yes, I know.
You don't bother with galaxies. I don't ever bother with galaxies from London because they're super, super faint, and light pollution filters don't work on them. They just don't have enough hydrogen in them.
Too late. I've set it off now, so let's just have a go. Be a good pal and turn it off when it's finished. I'm going to be in bed.
Once again, Bunny has absolutely stitched me up. I'm writing this log in the knowledge that nerdkind is on the brink of a catastrophic defeat. 1:30 a.m. The robot has already locked onto the target. The galaxy's photons have taken 30 million years to reach London, passing by the stars in the handle of the plough on the way. My enemy, with her superior glass elements, is pulling ahead. Her stack is already revealing spiral arms, which is pretty amazing considering we're shooting from the big smoke. We need to do something drastic to save the nerds. 2 a.m. I seek inspiration from fellow nerds on the Astrobiscuit Discord server. What are you doing still up?
So I'm just had breakfast at the moment.
I'm having dinner. Here's smoked almonds if anyone wants.
But all they can talk about is food.
Oh, I can't stay. I've got to make myself a fried egg sandwich.
Okay. Oh no, now I want one as well.
But then, I have a fried egg sandwich-induced brainwave. We're going to do something the robot can't, and shoot a luminance channel. That means shooting without a red, green or blue filter. The luminance channel may not be quite as sharp, but it will capture loads more photons. We have spirals. It's definitely working. If I can just stay awake another half hour and get the blue channel, then I reckon we got the robot beat. My brain just switched off then.
The further you are into the night, the more errors creep in.
The very last job is to refocus for the blue channel. Once we've got the blues in, we're good. When you accidentally kick the tripod, it moves everything out of alignment with the rotation of the Earth. Come on, Biscuit. No time to lose. Because look, the clouds are coming. If I don't realign the mount and then get my blue channel before the clouds come, then I'm only going to have a black and white image and Roboscope will have won. I just got started on the blue channel. I've only got six usable subs. Just fingers crossed I can pull enough blue out of those 6 subs to make my shot work. Oh man. The fate of the battle between nerds and robots rests upon which of us best captured this super faint galaxy through London's smog. To judge, I've called upon the help of our very own musical genius.
Hey, Bunny. How you doing?
I'm all good, matey. Just doing this shootout.
All right, Rory.
Riktenstien. All right, mate, so you are going to decide which is better, either my nerd design or Bunny's Stellina robot scope.
So would you say it's really good, Stellina?
For someone as lazy as you, it is good, yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
But it's a nerd killer, so I am fundamentally against it.
Whereas I am all for it. Have a look. So we've got A.
It's time for his geniusness to determine the fate of nerd and rabbit and robot kind.
That looks all right. Okay. Oh, wow. For my money, just zoom in a bit. Well, I don't know, actually. It's tough. When you zoom in on that one, I was going to go for B, but I think it's the way it's zoomed. When you zoom in, I think when you look at them, I think that B looks better. But actually, when you want to see the detail and you zoom in, I think, well, A wins because it's got the tail.
All right.
Oh, I don't believe
All right.
it.
Good man, Rick. Good man. Good man. That is absolutely the right choice. The nerds have survived for another day.
Are you sure, Steiner?
Yeah, I'm going for A.
Yes.
Oh, well done.
Bunny, we're on for chat at the weekend, remember?
Yes.
Cool, I'll see you then.
Cheers, Rick. So, looks like I'm not out of a job. At least not until they update Stellina's firmware. If, like Rick, you like the robot and are thinking about buying her, then please check out my website for the full review. And you'll also find all the bits of kit that I use to compete against the robot there too. Thank you, Vaonis, for lending me Stellina. Appreciate it very much. Thank you, Riktenstien, for the amazing tunes. And if you want to make yourself happy and Riktenstien happy, then why not purchase his album, link below. What else? Oh! A massive thanks to a chap who watched one of my videos called Matt, because he then said, you know what, Rory, I'm going to make a Discord server for you, and he has. It's the Astrobiscuit Discord server. We've got nearly 1,000 members now, and it's kind of the nearest thing to being in a pub I've had since lockdown, albeit a pub jam-packed full of geeks. Talking of geeks, thanks @Geeks for organising the competition for the best and most biscuity astrophotos. There's the Biscuit Design Factory, where Juan designed this very video's thumbnail. Excellent job, sir. And @Goose has earned himself a bit of merchandise by designing this design for biscuity merch. And the dream one day is to have loads of live streamers streaming what they're seeing in space through their telescope. Live streamers like Astro Consti, and there's more from all over the world, and all you do is just drop in their channel and you can chat, and this is open to non-nerds, by the way, so anyone can get a glimpse of space. But we definitely could do with some more streamers. If you've got a telescope and you want to join the live streaming gang, jump on the Astrobiscuit server, message me, we'll have a chat and I'll hook you up so you can set up your own channel and live stream. What else? Since Christmas and telescope sales have gone down, big thank you to my patrons for helping keeping me afloat. And a big shout out to all the wonderful people who share Astrobiscuit videos, the Biscuiteers on the Facebook group. I really appreciate the support. Thank you so much. Oh, and you can buy me a coffee. Until we meet again, may the nerd force be with you. Oh, I can't believe I said that. All right, bye.